Today I rise in opposition to the school aid budget, House Bill 4242. As we know, we're dead last in revenue growth in education. The Michigan School Finance Research Collaborative has shown that we are underfunding each and every student by the tune of $2,000. Unfortunately, this budget today continues to perpetuate the lack of investment. A 1.4 increase doesn't even keep up with the rate of inflation. When you start crunching the numbers under this plan, there are districts throughout Michigan that will actually receive less than their projected operating costs for the upcoming school year. So what is being presented as an increase may actually be a negative net for many of our school districts. Education experts agree that the weighted foundation formula model is the way to go. This budget presented before us today has no weighted formula for special education, no weighted formula for economically disadvantaged, and no weighted formula for CTE education, despite the fact these are proven and necessary investments. There is no additional money for high school students, although we know it costs more to educate a child in high school. There is no increase in the eligibility threshold to our Great Start Readiness program, our preschool program for 4-year-olds, that we know lays a strong foundation for future academic success. This budget does nothing to address our literacy crisis happening right now in our great state. We ranked 41st in the country when it comes to reading, yet this budget fails to meet the need of literacy coaches for every school district across Michigan. Only half of our children can read at proficiency. So how much lower do we want to go? And despite the lack of investment in our public schools, we're actually increasing funding for private schools. We are lining the pockets of for-profit educators by fully funding online cyber schools, many who contract out of Michigan. We are heavily siphoning off money from the foundation allowance to hand out contracts to vendors. We are leaving almost $185 million on the table, on the balance sheet, that could be directed right into our classrooms. This balance could fund the weighted foundation formula for special education. It could fund at-risk weighted formula. This balance combined could triple literacy coaches. It could increase the Great Start Readiness threshold, and it could make sure that there's additional funding for high school students. Why are we leaving so much money behind? What other holes are we trying to fill with school aid dollars meant to educate our children? But most appalling of all, we are taking money meant for K-12 students and diverting it elsewhere, creating another cycle of disinvestment. This sort of shift leads our kids behind in vulnerable positions, and there's absolutely nothing preventing the school aid fund from being raided in the future. There is no stability in this budget. And until we start fully funding our schools, Michigan's future is in serious jeopardy. So if you value students, if you value parents, if you value teachers, please vote no on this budget. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker. As we know, every student in Michigan deserves better.